Let's talk about 5 things that ruin your tolerance, because ruining your tolerance is not only costly, but it'll make seshing just less fun overall. So if you're spending all of your money at the plug or the dispo and you're just not having a good time anymore, this one's for you. Number 1 on the list, you're consuming too often. What's the best thing to do in the morning? Wake and bake. What's the best thing to do in the afternoon? Get high. What's the best thing to do in the evening? Get really high. What's the best thing to do at night before you go to sleep? Get really, really high. But you can't do every single one of those. You can maybe do 1 or 2. Now, I firmly believe that wake and bakes are one of the number 1 things that ruin people's tolerance, because most people complaining about their tolerance to wake and bake are also trying to get high the rest of the day. On average, you're awake for about 16 hours a day. You cannot be high for 16 hours a day. When you smoke or you dab, maybe you're high for a couple hours, but you can't do that 8 times in a day, 5 times in a day. Maybe you can do it once or twice, but you're not going to be as high as if you do it once. I do the majority of my consumption live on Twitch, 9 p.m. Eastern. You should join me, by the way. Link your Amazon Prime. You can give me some Jeff Bezos weed money. But I typically keep my consumption in a 5-hour window. There are other days where I make exceptions, like a Saturday, I might get high earlier. But I know on that day, towards the end of my sesh, I'm not going to be as high as if I didn't smoke earlier and just smoke later. So I'm not saying, no, you can't wake and bake, but don't wake and bake and expect to be able to get as high or higher later in the day. It just doesn't work like that. You can't be high all day. You can only be medium all day. But you can get high once or twice a day. I know everybody's different, but I think it's like 5 or 6 hours. So maybe you can get high 2 different times, or you can get high for one little bit of a longer sesh. Number 2 on the list, you're consuming too much. Now this plays into the first one. If you're consuming too often, you're probably consuming too much. But a lot of people just do more than they need to during the sesh. And concentrates are probably like the biggest culprit of people doing too much. Like, they're called dabs because a dab will do you, and your average person is doing Globbert De Niro's, Globbert Downey Jr.'s. And in a lot of cases, a good percentage of it goes to waste. That's why I'm a fan of cold starts and electronic devices. They're really efficient. E-rigs are really efficient if you get a nice one. That way, you're not blasting through your concentrate. You're not like doing hits that are way too big. You're not using too much at once. And that 1 gram that you got that isn't cheap is going to last you a lot longer. You're not going to get less high. You're just going to get high more times off the same gram if you're more efficient with it. Another culprit is people that like to roll fatties, bro. You roll a 3-4 gram joint and you're also like a completionist at the same time. You're probably going to consume more than you need to. You could do that with bowls too. You pack one that's way too big and you're like, I'm sorry, I can't be done until I finish this. Sometimes overdoing what you need in the current sesh is going to make it harder to get high the next time. You're not going to have as much time to cleanse it out. Edibles are another one where people just take in more than they need sometimes. It's really easy to eat a whole bag of edibles even if you only needed 1. So just be conscious of how much gets you high and try not to use much more than that. Now, just one thing to address the first 2 points is don't make it too convenient for you. If you just have cartridges lying around, it's so easy to just pick one up and take a hit. If you got all your joints pre-rolled throughout the week, it's so easy to just grab one and light them. I used to pre-pack my bowls. It's so easy to talk myself into just grabbing the bong and lighting it. It's a little bit harder to talk yourself into grinding it up and packing it. So if you're struggling with doing it too often or doing too much, just make it a little bit more inconvenient for yourself. Set yourself up for success. Don't set yourself up to ruin your tolerance. You keep that thing on you. You got a card in your pocket at all times. Your tolerance is done. Number 3 is lack of variety. Now, I just talked about people who pack bowls too big or roll too fat, and it's good to understand how much gets you high so you're not overdoing it, but also being able to mix it up and switch it to that next thing is going to get you high. If you dab a lot, try smoking a little bit, switch it up. If you haven't done edibles in a while, maybe try a day where you only do edibles. Mixing up how you consume can help, but also mixing up what you're consuming. If you just get like 10 ounces of the same flour, no matter how good it is, no matter how potent it is, it could be the best thing ever. At a certain point, you're just not really going to feel it anymore. You could literally have the top of the top shelf, the best of the best flour. But at a certain point, if you smoked or dabbed ounces of it, you could literally just go get any old run-of-the-mill mids and probably get higher off of one hit. So mixing up the cannabinoids and terpenes that you're getting may cause you to need less and not just supercharge your tolerance. You just keep smoking smoking the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to need more and more each time that you do it. Number 4 is underhydration. Drink some water. As a stoner, water is the number one thing, right? It's the number one thing. Water pipes, sip before you rip, ice water, hash. The benefits of water are crazy, bro. People don't drink water at the sesh. Like, one of my number one tips for people that cough a lot is sip before you rip. Have a glass of water, stay hydrated. Getting through like a nice 4 or 5 hour sesh is almost like a marathon. It's almost like a longer workout. You need to be hydrated or you're gonna have a bad time. Being hydrated is not only gonna make the hits like easier to take and make the sesh better overall, but drinking a lot of water is gonna help you clean your system out. The more water you drink, the more you pee, the more likely you are to get even higher at your next sesh. If you just only drink like sodas and like sweet teas and just like sugar-filled drinks, you're not doing as much to cleanse the cannabinoids out of your system as somebody who drinks a lot of water. Now, the tip about drinking water also plays into tip number 5. Number 5, being too unhealthy can ruin your tolerance. Drinking a lot of water is the first step to getting healthier. Like, if your entire diet consists of junk food and fast food and you're only eating what most people would consider garbage, you might not be getting as high as somebody who spends more of their time eating healthier foods. Having a healthier lifestyle, eating better foods, exercising more, drinking more water, in addition to the other things that I've laid out in this video, if you do that, you're gonna get higher at the sesh. I know getting high is a little bit different for everybody, but say you have 2 identical twins. They're following all the other tips, but you have one that just eats junk food, never exercises, drinks a lot of soda, never drinks water, versus their twin who exercises a bit more, even just a few times a week, drinks a lot of water, doesn't eat as much junk food. The healthier twin, in my opinion, is going to be getting higher off of less flour, less concentrates, less edibles, if they both do like a similar daily routine on getting high. Now, I'm actually experiencing a bit of this personally. I just recently bought some new exercise equipment. I'm trying to get a little back into shape, but I got a pull-up bar, some dip bars. And some days I've been going ham, trying to just bang out as many reps as I can. I love calisthenics. And like a few times lately on my stream, like I had to end a couple of my Twitch streams early because I was just like so unbelievably high. I'm like, I can't really think about what I'm doing right now. I gotta just go lay down. So I'm going to see how many pull-ups I can bang out before the rest of the day. Tune into my Twitch stream. We get high every night at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm doing a carts only sesh June 20th. Don't miss 620. And if you haven't seen my E-Rig tier list, it's probably one of the videos I put the most effort into. Check out this one right here. Have a lit day, my dudes.